Hi, I'm Mary Ellen Collins. I want to talk to you today about fathers. In June, we celebrate fathers, and fathers play such a critical role in our development into womanhood. But Father's Day can also be a trigger for us, too. Fathers teach us how to have relationship with a man. Fathers teach us so many things. Father's Day can be a trigger. I mean, this triggers me. I know that whenever my emotional response is greater than the situation, it really is unresolved loss that is the culprit. If I haven't met you yet, I'm Mary Ellen Collins. I'm the founder and executive director at the Motherless Daughters Ministry. And I really want you to know how pleased I am and honored that you're taking and giving me the gift of your time this morning. Some of us had fathers who really we had wonderful, heroic fathers who helped, some of us, they helped us grieve in the loss of a mother. Even though they were in the midst of their own grieving, they held us and they let us cry. And they were always there for us. If that describes your father, you are blessed. Some of us had fathers who could not cope with the loss of their wives, and they retreated into helplessness, leaving us to navigate life on our own. Often we had to care for our fathers and set our own grief aside, leaving us with some unresolved anger and certainly unresolved grief. Some of us experienced abandonment from our mother, and the anger our father held was directed towards us. Some of us have or had fathers who were emotionally or physically absent. We not only lost our mother, but we may have lost our father also. The effects of this double loss are profound and haunting and really make us into tough survivors. This is me. My father left when I was 10 years old. He chose another wife and he chose another family. I was not his special daughter. I was only a reason to pay child support. Then at 15, the only parent I had was diagnosed with breast cancer. After her surgeries, I implored the doctors to explain to me what caused her cancer. They said, "We think cancer is caused from an emotional trauma. It is in all of us just waiting until we break down and then it takes over." This was the thinking in the 1960s. My father had divorced her and he never looked back. She never got over his rejection. I equated the cause of my mother's cancer with the emotional trauma he had inflicted on her with his alcoholism, womanizing, and ultimate divorce. He had killed her. My father had killed my mother. I had reason to hate him with a vengeance. He not only left me, he killed her. At 15, my thinking was, how can you forgive a murderer? And all during my teenage years, I resented him. He was never a part of my life. I lived out that psychological drama of loss by being the girl in high school that every boy wanted to date. I played hard to get. Then I would make them fall in love with me, only so I could drop them like a hot potato. I cannot remember how many young men I crushed, but I did it with a vengeance. Now I know I was hurting my father over and over and over again. After high school, I went on to become an emergency room nurse. One evening, my dad appeared, spitting up blood, coupled with shortness of breath. Not a good sign. Surprised to see me, I treat him like I would any other patient. Tell me when these symptoms began, sir. Not had, sir. My training told me it was one of the three T's: tumor, trauma, or TB. No doubt it was a tumor. He had been a vigilant smoker. He was admitted to the hospital. I gathered up the courage to visit him in his hospital room, not knowing why or what I would say. When I opened the door, I was greeted with a, "What do you want?" Not a hello, not "I have missed you," not "I love you." All the words I wanted to hear. "How are you?" "Fine." "Got time to talk?" "I don't have anything to say else to do." "Can we talk about us?" "There is no us." "I am your daughter. You are my father. I have missed you for over 26 years. Where have you been?" My internal response was, "I want answers. I want to know why. You've got over 26 years worth of explaining to do." Silence, silence. Then the tears, then the sobs. I am not moved. Wow, am I ever calloused? I am watching a 64-year-old dying man cry his heart out, and I am not moved? What is wrong with me? Through the tears, he says, "I'm sorry." Out spills the emotion he had pent up inside of him. He tells me about his childhood. He talks about how his behavior, how wrong it was. He tells me about his regrets. He tells me about how much he loved my mother. He tells me how he made his bed and then he had to lay in it. "I love you." I break down. How I wanted to hear those words for so many years. And now they are here before me. Hold on to them. Don't let go of them. 2 hours later, the bitter poison I had swallowed reversed. I have a new insights, new empathy, new wisdom. It was not my fault. I forgive him, and in turn, I am set free. Free from anger, free from the pain of rejection. In 3 short months, he's gone. During those months, I'm given the opportunity to visit and care for him in his home, along with his wife and kids. I do this with love. I see God work in my dad and in turn in me. The hard edge is gone in both of us. He passes away and I am able to cry for him. Wow. My story is not only one of forgiveness, but it's redemption, forgiveness of him and forgiveness of me. Share if you can relate to this story. Was your father heroic? Was he helpless? How did you cope? Was he absent? Each week, you will receive short messages from us that encourage all of us. Share these with others. My prayer for you is to know that your eternal Father will always hold you close in love and protection. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next Monday.